Hi, it's Mike Taggart. I wanted to show you all this wonderful little dry fly that I've come up with. It's very, very easy to do. Now, in the world of dry flies, you can get very complex. There's a lot of great technique that once you get advanced in it, that seem challenging. But they all start with the same basics. And so that's what we want to focus on here at Attainable Flies for you. It's a very simple fly, fishes very well, and this is something that you can do. Again, we're going to start with some Magpie 72 denier olive colored thread. Okay, I've got some Wapsi life cycle dub, and then our other component is our hackle, and this is a whiting hackle. It came from a whiting cape that I have, and you're going to spend a little money for hackles. Get the right ones. Now, how do you know? Okay, this one, Whiting does a good job of putting the sizes of the suggested sizes of their hackles. Okay, they suggested this is a size 14. And what that means is as I bring this around, you can see that that's about 1.5 times that hook length. This is a size 14 Ahrex hook. And just so everybody knows, this is a size 14 Ahrex F501. FW501, size 14. This is an Ahrex hook. They're very, very good. It's also barbless, and this one has a black body to it. I kind of like the black bodies on the surface of the water. Another component that I'm going to use, and this is something that you probably already have, and that's a little barred grizzly hackle from a hen there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with just a little bit of our thread. We're going to come back about a hook eye and a half and lock that thread in. And as you lock that thread in, keep that tag end up like that. You can break it off or cut it, whichever you work. With the finer threads, you can break it off without any problems. Now, we want to grab a few of the fibers. And when you grab your fibers, what you're going to do is you're going to pull the fibers back so that they come up about at a 90-degree angle. And we're going to grab off a little clump of those, about 4 or 5. Now, with flies like this, we're not going to worry about how many tail segments that a mayfly has. This is there to help keep the fly floating. And so we want to measure the length of the hook shank. So you see the fibers are stopping right about the bend of the hook. I've got it pinched right there. I'm going to transfer that to right at the end. You see where I've got it. And I'm going to tie that on. Pinch those in place. I'll wrap that all the way down the end of the hook shank. So you see my tail fibers are about a hook shank in length. That's what we want. Now I'm going to just put some holding wraps on here. And just for neatness, I'm going to try and keep those fibers on top. See how the thread wants to torque around? You want to try and keep that up there. You may have to adjust. Pull it back up every couple of wraps. There you go. All the way back up to our tie-in point. Okay. Dropping things here on the bench as we do this. It's okay. I'm going to pull this up. Give it a little clip. And we've got the excess already off it there. Now, at this point, we're going to want to go on ahead and again start to build a little bit of a taper. So we're going to come back 2/3 of the way. Then we're going to go forward all the way to the tie-in point. Then we're going to come back about 1/3 of the way and then back up to the front. Okay. Now that does some really good, see that little bit of cigar shape there. If you want a little more pronounced, you can come back that 1/3 one more time and build it. You don't need to put a big, thick taper on here right now. You want a little taper. Now, I'm going to bring this thread all the way down, and I'm not worried about untwisting my thread on this fly. I want these little bumps here because that's going to hold our dubbing on there. Now, I'm going to take out just the tiniest pinch of this dubbing. Okay, just the tiniest little bit. You can see that? It floats. There we go. Don't want to lose it. Okay. And we're going to give this a nice little bit of wax right there just to hold the fibers on. Now, I'm not going to split the thread. I'm not going to make a dubbing loop or anything like that. I'm just going to dub it on here. Get a nice little tight little noodle going here. And you see how I'm doing this. You're going to lay your thumb and finger on there. Slide your thumb over your finger. Always go in the same direction. Spread that noodle out a little bit. Here we go. Now we're going to bring this in and we're going to dub it in. And remember, tiny little bits of dubbing. One of the most common mistakes that new tires have is that they just want to put so much dubbing on and they go, man, that looks like such a meaty fly, such a buggy fly. Okay, now I want to get a little more dubbing on here because I do want to go a little further. So now we can add a little more. Can always add. Taking away is nearly impossible. Get just another little pinch right here, just a tiny little bit. I'm going to fluff it out a little bit, put it onto the thread, remake my noodle. And there we go. I'm going to bring that up, and I'm going to be building up a little taper, and you build your taper by putting your thread wraps close together. There you go. See that build up right there? Now I've got a nice little taper working there. Now this is a buggy fly, so it's got some fuzz to it. We want that. I also have a little tiny bit of thread right there. Now that little bit of thread, and I'm going to bring the rest of my thread up towards the hook eye. But that tiny little thread right there is what's going to hold our hackle in place. So now we're going to take our hackle. And when you look at your hackle, you've got a dull side and a shiny side. So you want to find the shiny side. That's almost a tongue twister for me. And we're going to stroke the fibers out just a little bit here. See that? Now, this is a trick that I have learned and I really like. We're going to break off a little bit of the bottom, and I'm going to tie my fly this direction. So I'm going to take a little bit extra off of that. You can see that right there. See the difference? Now, another thing that I have learned is that the way you hold your hackle is very, very important to getting a good smooth wrap. So you put that little bit of the rachis right down there, catch it in. I'm not using my magnifier, and I want to catch that in. A couple turns in front and a couple of turns in back. And that's going to hold that. And you see that's perpendicular. So the hackle itself is actually facing the hook eye as it's on here. So you see that. And what that does is that prevents that hackle from twisting as you wrap it on here. And that's what you want. You want that nice, fluffy wrap. So now we're going to hackle this, or palmer this hackle on here. Now, how many wraps you put on here is based. Sorry about that. So the amount of wraps is based on how dense your hackle is. So if you've got a really dense hackle, you don't need to put as many wraps on there. If you've got a thinner hackle, then maybe not, or you might need to put a few extra on here. So now we've got this. You notice I've got a death grip on my hackle here. I'm going to take out and I'm going to give it one, whoops. I'm going to come around behind, give it one holding wrap around, just one quick loop. And then what I'm going to do is I've got a half hitch tool, and I'm going to put just a little half hitch on here, and I'm going to push those fibers back with that little half hitch. See how I'm doing that? There. Now at this point, I have a very expensive tool that I'm going to use. You can get these at the drugstore for about $1. This is a cuticle trimmer, and it's a very cool little tool. It's made for just trimming little things, and I find that it's very easy to trim that hackle away with this. Now, there are fly tying specific tools that have these on the back end of them. Some guys even make their own. Some of the whip finish tools have them on it. Some of the Botkins have them on it. I got this one for like $1.50, and I've been using it ever since. That's a quick tip. You can use it. The folks at the tool companies hate when I come up with things like that. Sorry for the little camera bump, but it was sitting on my whip finish tool here. And give it a little 4-turner right there. And there you go. That little dry fly will catch fish. There is no question about it. It's got a nice big puffy hackle on it. It's going to float right on the surface. It's got a good proportion to it. And when you look at the proportions of a dry fly, this is where you want to be. So for Attainable Flies, it's Mike Taggart, attainableflies.com. Thank you for visiting. I hope you can help make fly fishing fun for everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.